Hey, my friends, welcome to the Dallas Daily Show coming at you from the Neighborhood Loan Studio here in St. Louis, Missouri. Today's topic is yogurt spills and targeting frustration. All right, let's get into the conversation. A lot of times I just share stories from my life or from something with my kids, stories from, a story with my wife or stuff I'm excited about. Sometimes it's stuff I'm learning. Sometimes it's, we did a whole series on billboards. We did a whole week on music that moves us. Today is an interesting one because it's a bit of a tale of a fail as a dad. And I often don't want to share all of my tales of my fails, but that's what you get today. So one of the things that our boys like is they like these yogurt tubes, or they like the little yogurt things. My wife will get them the Yo Plays or whatever. And this particular one, she had gotten them some Go-Gurts, I think is what they're called. And they're yogurt tubes, and it's like strawberry yogurt, but it's in a, tube. I'm making so many weird noises on this week's episodes. Yesterday was all about ha, ha, ha. By the way, after yesterday's episode called I Inhaled a Whisker, we finished recording that, and producer Taylor, as soon as she ends, hits the record button and the stop button, she goes, "That was gross." Oh my goodness. So today, now we're doing a different sound effect with the yogurt tube. And usually what happens is these have little tearaway tops, but for some reason, even if the boys, you know how sometimes you can get yogurt caught up in the top and like you pull it and it splatters a little bit. I've taught the boys like, hey, shake the yogurt tube, push it down a little bit so that you don't have any yogurt at the top when you tear the top open. Because when you tear the top open, usually that pressure yogurt spills everywhere. So it's all sound effects today. Right? It's everything. I feel like we need a machine gun sound effect right now just to make like it all. If I'm in sound effect mode, that's where we are, right? So I was a little bit frustrated by several things happening, and I do have an old trigger that I've gotten way better at. Nevertheless, when I am highly focused on other things, or when I'm fatigued, or when I'm a little bit overwhelmed, some of those old triggers come back up, right? Nietzsche said, when you are tired, you'll find yourself fighting enemies that you defeated a long time ago. So sometimes old triggers come back up for us. And yeah, I just dropped a Nietzsche bomb on you. Like, there's another sound effect. So when they open these things and a little bit of yogurt sprays and it gets on the floor, or it gets on the counter, or God forbid, they get it on their fingers and then they go touch the remote, and then the remote is sticky later. When I go to use the remote control on the TV that I paid for and the remote is sticky, nothing will bother me more. It just drives me nuts to have a sticky remote. I don't know about you. There's something about, I've always wondered, at what age do people start going, you know what, I'm tired of things around me being sticky. I'm going to start to wash my hands more frequently, because it ain't happening in my home, people. So I was already slightly overwhelmed, and I saw the boys with the yogurt tubes, okay? And I was like, hey, I just looked at him, and in that dad voice, I was like, hey, go and get the scissors to open that, because I don't want to be cleaning up yogurt gut off the floor later. That was literally what I said. Hey, go get the scissors for that, because I don't want to be the one cleaning up yogurt gut off the floor. Yogurt gut is such a, because right? All of that. I'm just doing this because Taylor's laughing at the sound effects at this point. So they were like, geesh, Dad, gosh, Dad, okay, fine. So they got the scissors, and of course there was yogurt gut on the scissors. And I'm like, now rinse the scissors off, because I don't want the yogurt gut making the scissors sticky. So they did that. You can see I was frustrated. And I was like, I just said, I just don't want you guys spilling all over the floor today. It's too many other things happening. I don't want to be cleaning up, and I don't want you cleaning up. Well, lo and behold, like in my mind's eye, do you have those moments where you glimpse an accident before it happens? Have You ever had that thing where you're like, that's going to fall? No. And then it falls and everything goes into slow motion, but you knew it was like your Spider-Man spider sense going off, or your, as Aunt May called it in the last Spider-Man movie, your Peter tingle, that going off. And you're like, no. And it does. Well, I had that moment. I had that moment with the yogurt. And I was like, I don't want you guys spilling it. God, I can just see you spilling it everywhere. That's what I said. And then 3 seconds later, I kid you not, he drops the entire open tube. It slips out of his hand, probably because they were too clean and not sticky enough, but it slips out of his hand, and it was no. Yogurt everywhere, on the cabinet wall, on the floor, on my shoes. It was just like, I saw it before it happened, but I had to ask the question, did I target that level of frustration? Was it my frustration that caused the fear, that caused the circumstance? I don't know. It's a weird chicken and the egg story, right? It's a weird conversation to have. It's a weird thing to ask. But have you ever, it's fallen back into the old pattern of Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Have you ever targeted something and it just happened right then? You're like, oh, doggone it. That was exactly the thing I knew was going to happen, and of course it did. It lived up to my expectation, right? You ever had one of those moments in your life? If you're 10-2 right now, you best be nodding, because we've all had them. There's this story in the Bible, the book of Job, and Job went under all these trials and all of this stuff, and he lost his family, lost his kids, burned down the house, crops failed, like all this stuff just went wrong for Job. And he said this really intriguing thing. He said, the very thing I feared has come upon me. It's a really interesting thing when we start targeting stuff. Is this about yogurt spills? No. But my energy was in a place where I was already frustrated and I was already anxious, and somehow I pushed that onto my kids. They got anxious, and the very thing I didn't want to happen occurred. How often does that happen in our lives? Because we're stuck in old triggers, old beliefs, old behaviors, rather than targeting what we ultimately want. One of the things we target in our home all the time, we pray for as a family, is that our home will be an oasis of peace. A place where people come and can feel the peace in the house. Does that always happen? No. It certainly won't happen if I'm in low frequency, low energy, frustration, possibly anger, and I'm putting fear in everyone around me. Walk on eggshells. That definitely is a thing. So this was my tale of my fail. What about you? Do you have a tale of a fail? Because you were locked in an old frustration, an old belief, and that the very thing you feared came upon you. It's an interesting thought. No positive play call today, just simply a let's reflect on that concept. Have you ever had a situation where the very thing you feared came upon you? Have you ever had a situation where you targeted a frustration and the frustration occurred? Oh, this probably isn't going to work, and then it doesn't work, and you're like, I thought it wasn't going to work. Maybe that's on you. This one was definitely on me. The no, splat, gross, all on me. I'm willing to admit it. And I'm also willing to learn from it and say, next time, what could I target that's different? That's what I got for you to think about. What can you target that's different, my friend? Go out there, have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to DallasDailyShow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.